To preface this video, there are no spoilers besides content found in previews, showcases, and trailers. I will not be going into any content that was found via broken street date or leaked online copies. Okay, with that said, let's continue. The journey to this game's release has been weird, like really weird. I don't think I'm alone in saying that my opinions on this game has looked like this. From the very first IGN gameplay reveal to now, it's been a wild ride. And not just from the content itself, but from the fan feedback and discourse, if you can even call it that. Twitter is practically no man's land with two sides, Sonic fans who like what they see and Sonic fans who don't like what they see, and everyone in between who are just sitting ducks. Although generally now, people seem pretty positive about the game. A lot of critics say that they enjoyed their time with it, and a lot of the general reception is swaying towards that positivity. Although there's still some criticisms people have about the game, and there's still a lot of debate going on. So anyhow, what are my final thoughts before this game blows up Twitter even further? Okay, open world. One of the things holding Sonic back in a lot of ways was the linear level format that was a standard in the previous titles. Namely, Forces is the most recent example. Granted, there's nothing wrong with linearity, but a switch up of the usual formula is much appreciated since we've had linear level formats for almost 2 decades, with it becoming especially egregious in Forces. Going open zone, was in this sense a necessary evolution for the series so it doesn't go stale, and Sonic is a perfect mascot for an open world game. Sonic in theory can traverse quickly, run up slopes, mountains, and uses large space to his advantage. It can essentially become Sonic's playground. Open world games that utilize movement well makes it fun and satisfying to pull off, can become instantly replayable and enjoyable based on this control alone. Spider-Man PS4 is my favorite example of this. I spent hours purely swinging around the city, doing cool maneuvers and making New York my jungle gym without even touching a main mission. That's right, I didn't even progress story-wise for a bit, purely because I found exploring the city with my spider abilities to be so fun on its own right. The Sonic Frontiers could be this in its own right, a fun movement system that makes me want to play it for hours on merit of its control. So how does Frontiers utilize Sonic in reality? It looks okay? I find it hard to articulate my exact ideas or thoughts on what makes something fun because game design is complicated. With Sonic Frontiers, a lot of the open world is scattered with dash panels, scripted springs, dash ramps, homing fodder, and these modular platforms floating in the sky. The terrain itself in Frontiers doesn't seem to complement Sonic's movement at all, and it's almost like the island was just created at first, and then they plopped in these modular assets afterwards to try and make the island fun. There's no loops, no ramps, no half pipes, or anything that would be fun moving Sonic around. I think exploring the world with some of Sonic's abilities will be fun on purely the exploration and discovery basis, but replaying this game, I just can't see myself wanting to do so with Sonic's movement controls in bland environments. Next, cyberspace. A lot of Sonic fans seem to dislike this portion of the game, and understandably. The controls don't seem tight enough, the levels are rehashed, only 4 level themes that are consistently reused throughout the 2010s. They're pretty unimaginative. Somehow though, I don't really have a fully negative opinion on this. I think I'm just super jaded and tired about complaining about these topics. That's worn me down and I'm willing to accept it for what it is. I think the fact that these are pretty short and don't make up a huge chunk of the game will make it more bearable for me. And honestly, I actually kind of like what I see from the 2D sections. I'm a huge Sonic Rush fan, so I think I'll get some enjoyment out of that in that aspect. And replaying the levels of speed on it and collecting all the red rings will probably entice me and make it a lot more fun too. Overall, it seemed to play a lot better than Forces, with more to do actually than holding your hand the entire time. I'm looking forward to playing all these and getting fast times, even if it doesn't look the best. Next, combat. This part, I don't really have much to say since I don't play or focus on games with combat too much. I usually stay away from combo heavy games myself. The combat does look engaging though, and is certainly more thought provoking than the homing attack fodder from the past entries. But with such a high amount of enemies requiring a ton of attacks, it might get tiresome quickly, especially some people. But overall, I think it looks decently fun, but it also looks very cheesable. I mean, being able to side loop the ground for infinite rings does seem to make the game way too easy. Just get hit, side loop, infinite rings. So combat may just end up becoming a bore in the end with the lack of challenge. Moving on though. Story. This part is weird. I feel like the story hasn't been marketed much outside small tiny bits. They really want to hit home the mystery aspect, but can we get more story bases or some more detailed plot synopsis? At this point in time, I'm not sure what to think of the story, other than the dialogue will most likely be well written as it's done by Ian Flynn. I think the tone looks far more interesting and compelling compared to Pontac and Graff's writing, and I'm more excited for a serious story as opposed to Colors or Forces. Hopefully it delivers in some aspects. I don't think I take no story like Geller's Forces. No matter what I've said prior, I think this game is great in the sense it's a step up from its predecessor, and I think Sonic Team can and have learned a lot from this game and how it can further evolve the Sonic franchise. In some ways, I don't think this game does better things than other games, like Unleash Your Generations, but I still think it takes some great leaps forward into brand new territory the game desperately needs to stay fresh. To me, I can compare this to Pokemon Legends Arceus, where it lays the groundwork for potential future games. My overall thoughts, however, they're still sort of mixed, albeit still positive. Relatively though, this game is a huge step forward for the franchise, and I know I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this title. After all, I still do enjoy Sonic no matter what, and the game does look a hell of a lot more fun than Forces. Okay, that was a lot. I'm off to play Frontiers now. Most likely make a video actually on it. Probably a small impressions video, and then I'll make a full review. Alright, if you liked the video, consider subscribing, drop a like, any amount of support helps. Thanks for watching.